Clog TV.
Beyond the policy.
Yeah, welcome back to the KOKO Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the KOKO Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our main segment. And I'm sure our preluding song gave you a fair idea of the conversation we're about to have, as our very own Stone Boy is telling the Ghanaian populace that many men shall die if we do not take care, if we do not check this issue of Galamsey. Today's conversation is about Galamsey, balancing the risk and opportunities that Galamsey also poses. We have two guests, and my very first guest here with me in the studio is in the person of Mr. Solomon Ajao. He's the Regional Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association of the Greater Accra Region. So the Greater Accra Region's, what's the word? Sector or division, yes. Greater Accra Region's division. And he has a Master of Health, Public Health, and he's also a registered nurse. And our other guest on standby is also in the person of Professor Emmanuel Ahin. He's the former Dean and Acting Head of the Department of Geological Science at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. So let's get familiar with Mr. Solomon for now. A little later, we will be speaking with Professor Emmanuel Ahin on phone. He'll be joining us in the conversation. As you know, we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, so don't forget to send in your comments to our live stream. We'll read them out loud, and of course, onto our WhatsApp number that is displayed on your screen. Send your questions, send all your suggestions, send your thoughts, and please make sure to keep it decorous. I beg you. And then also, any questions you have for the professor or for Mr. Solomon, you can also send them here now. So, yes, Mr. Solomon Najao, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and good morning to yourself.
Good morning to you too. I'm sure they are glad we are having a conversation on Galamsey today.
Yeah.
So you're part of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, which is a labor union. So should we say you are representing our whole organized labor?
Oh, no, organized labor. I mean, Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwife Association is a trade union which is part of organized labor.
Okay.
So in my capacity here, I'm representing a section of it. So I'm representing nurses and midwife in Greater Accra region.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
We were hoping maybe you just...
No, for organized labor, they have their leadership that speak for them.
And by the way, I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're on a campaign.
Yes, I really love it. I'm also in my red and black.
Yes,
something small. So let's go quickly into it. We've been talking about Galamsey, and some people may have heard it, but they may not really be able to define it. So if you can do that for us.
Okay, so first of all, let me say a very good morning to all nurses and midwives in the country, particularly Greater Accra Regional Nurses and Midwives. Also my regional executive, who have been a very supportive team to me. Back to the question, when we talk about Galamsey, first of all, let's all understand and appreciate that issues about mining has always been with us. We've been mining gold, diamond, manganese, bauxite, and everything. But people decided to move into small-scale mining where they were being given certain certificates or authority to mine for a certain period. Then we had other people who decided to go into our forest to mine illegally. And you see, the word Galamsey, I'm being told it's a corrupted word, is gather and sell. You understand? So when you look at the illegal mining, these are people who don't have license, who have not been authorized to go into our forests and to go to our water bodies and everything to mine. Because for safe mining, it has always been with us. People have been mining for more than 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And I mean, for us as a country, we've been benefiting from these mining. I mean, gold is one of our largest exporting of the produce that we get from mining. So mining itself has always been with us. But illegal mining in recent times has been a topical issue because of all the effects that we are all experiencing. Yeah,
Okay. So can you touch briefly on the current state of illegal mining, or even if its effects here in the country?
You see, let's also look at the primary cause why people decided to, I mean, poverty largely is one of the contributing.
I always say that during reviews. But the current state of the illegal mining now, would you say that it has it to us so to the point where we may not even be able to check it?
Oh yes, trust me. When you look at illegal mining, the effects on us, you can group it physical, mental, environmental effects and all that. But when we look at we have the physical effect, we are talking about it having neurological effects on babies that are being born. So they go to school, they are not well, I mean, up there in terms of their intelligence, quotient and everything.
We will come to, I'm asking about how bad it is right now.
It's very bad. Yes. It's very, very, very bad. Hitherto, where we thought that these are farming communities have been destroyed, and they are using it as Galamsey sites. Our lands are being destroyed, our water bodies are being destroyed. I mean, Ghana Water coming up with statement that they are not able to process good drinking water for our people. So the effects and the situation is very bad, and we must not play with it. As a country, we must see it as a common enemy, and we must all come together to fight it.
Okay. So since you are from the Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, I'm sure you'll be able to touch on the health impacts that it would have on our citizens here. So
I mean, that is our concern, because we are responsible nurses and midwives who attend to our people in terms of health-related issues. So we see these cases. We have police who are working in these communities, and the reports that we are getting there is very disheartening. It's not something that we should sit in the comfort of our homes and be laughing or be happy about it. That is why the leadership of Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, led by Mrs. Perpetual Forian-Pofa as the president, we are waging a campaign that we should stop Galamsey. We should ban all skill mining, even for now.
Yes, until the issues.
Yes, because there are being proposals, and we need some steps to address it. If policymakers, if those who have the power to implement them are not ready, then there should be a total ban on it, so that we can save our water bodies, we can save our communities, we can save our women, we can save our children, we can save the older people in our communities.
Okay, but would you also say that there have been benefits? I mean, aside the export thing, that is even for the more of the large scale, because if we take out the small scale and then the Galamsey, I'm sure our large scale mining could still account for some of the gold exports. Are there any positive effects of Galamsey?
I mean, I wouldn't be here and say yes. I mean, when you look at the extent of devastation to our communities, our lands, and the people, I wouldn't be here and be glorifying someone's money that he or she is getting from this illegal thing. First of all, we've established it's illegal. So why then do we want to now look at the benefit? We are not benefiting as a country. We are not benefiting. It's just going to individuals' pockets. So as a country or as a people, our concern should be that if it's for our collective interest, let's safeguard the lands. Let's safeguard our water bodies. But for the benefits, people are benefiting from it. We are here in Accra. We are waging a strong campaign. The people in the community, they are directly involved in it. If they are to get any money, you and myself, we are not part.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we have some videos as well. If our producers can probably show us some of the effects that Galamsey has had on our lands and even our rivers so far. Aye. Okay, so with I've seen a few videos and interviews where they talk about what the pollution of these rivers do to us. So I'm sure, being in the medical field, if you can give us the gravity of this situation, especially to our health, we will be really grateful. The mercury and things.
The mercury issue that I talk about, mercury when used in mining, it goes into poison the water that we use.
Okay.
And the cost effect in terms of refining it to a potable water for us to drink is expensive.
Okay.
And when these people, some communities drink up from stream, they don't have the benefit of Ghana Water Company, preparing the water for them. So some go fetch directly and drink it. So if there's deposit of mercury, cyanide in it, it goes to affect them. What are the organs that we are looking at here? We have upper respiratory infections. We have kidney issues that are going to come in. So we are looking at the short, medium, and long-term effects. You understand? And we have records, increasing records of skin infections being recorded in those communities.
Okay.
It's all because of the effect of these chemicals in our water bodies. Those water are being used for cooking, for drinking, for, even those who are still engaging in farming. It's those polluted water that they are using. So in those communities, cases of skin infection is on the rise. As far as upper respiratory infections are there, you have kidney issues coming up. You may not know, you may not see it now, but people start reporting. And before you get to the end stage of renal diseases, for you to be on dialysis and everything, we have acute phases and all those things. And we can attribute the root cause to some of these things.
Okay. So as a health professional, can you take us through the process of, I remember watching some of the documentaries, and then they were talking about how our bodies excrete, literally waste substances, right? And it's like, if these substances or these heavy metals are in certain quantities in our bodies, it becomes difficult to excrete. So if you can take us through the scientific way those things happen.
Okay. So this one is more or less like...
Yeah. So that our viewers will understand.
So what we are talking about is that when you look at the human anatomy, what we call human anatomy in our science is basically how physically you appear. Whatever you take in, fluid and everything, we have exit points in our body. Particularly fluid, it has to be process because you need some to also build up your muscles to help it function and to other parts of the organs. For the body to excrete, you need a good functioning kidney, the kidney to function well. So if you have a lot of deposits of this poison, that's the mercury, the cyanide, and all the lead and all those things, chemicals in the water, it builds up in the kidney. At some point, the kidney cannot excrete these heavy metals. These are heavy metals. So then it begins to give you that problem that you'll be experiencing. And kidneys, as human beings, we have only two. It is very expensive to transplant a kidney. You must get not less than $30,000, not Ghana cedis, to transplant one kidney.
So in a situation where somebody is dealing with accumulated heavy metals in their body, what is the way forward for them? Is there some sort of hydration, maybe a lot of saline, or some sort of surgery that has to take place for them?
Obviously, you need to, we encourage hydration. That's taking in a lot of fluids.
But even the fluid is poison.
Exactly. So what's the end point here? So, but if you are not careful, you will end up needing this transplant, having these kidney issues, liver issues, that will also have some disposition in terms of your function of your body. You may not function well. Imagine you having issues, your eyes are very yellow, you have swollen feet and everything. You can't move about and everything. And those are signs of kidney issues. Liver will be evident in yellowish eyes and all those things and everything. So if these chemicals are being deposited in our body, it becomes difficult for the body to excrete it. Maybe from the onset, it will be trying, but as time goes on, it builds up. So in that community, which potable water are you going to even get to, as it were, to say that you are washing the kidney?
Okay. So again, still on the health impact, how can you give us a little information on how these kinds of poisoned waters react with the medications we also take? Some
impede the mechanical action of the some of the pharmaceutical things that we take. If you are on certain drugs and you have these chemicals being introduced into your system, the desired results will not be achieved because it will react with it. And we know more or less like acid, base, and salt. We were talking the basic things. So the reaction, counter reactions that will come in. So you are expected to get a particular result because you are fighting a particular condition or a certain condition. But the treatment will be impeded because of the presence of other heavy metals. You understand? So, for instance, if I'm a diabetic and I need to take my medication twice a day, and I'm going to take this poison or polluted water, which have deposits of these heavy metals, the chemical reaction, you and I cannot see with our physical eyes, but will not be achieving the desired result of keeping me alive throughout for the next phase of life.
Okay.
You understand? So also in the food that are coming in, that they are using this water to
water the crops.
The crops and all those things. So even those of us in Accra, we question certain foods that we eat or we buy at the roadside. You buy some salad, you're like, hey, which water are they using to?
To wash it.
So now that we can't tell what is happening to our food crops, we should be worried.
Yeah.
It should be something that all of us should be interested as a people that will fight it. Let's see it as a common enemy, devoid of politics.
Yeah.
Religious bodies, the traditional, we have stakeholders that can speak and that can work and must work. We have the government who is having the authority to implement these things. The ministries, the mineral commissions, the sector minister and everything is there. But we must come in as responsible citizens to push for these things. If we just speak to it as a talk show and everything, and we leave it there, it ends there. There are campaigns that other agencies must also embark on. I'm sure we'll touch on all those things. People that must move in, that's the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, that needs to educate the people, the effect of these chemicals when deposited. Imagine you giving birth to a child. I
was just about to ask the effects on even a pregnant woman and her unborn child as well, but
yes, like I was saying, it has this neurological effect, which affect them mentally. So growth retardation. When you say someone is retarded, it doesn't mean that the person can go to school, can be very sharp. He or she can be taught in classroom, but when it comes to whatever he was taught in the day, he has forgotten. You understand? So neurologically, what has to do with your cognitive development, it will be affected. These chemicals goes in to affect it negatively, not positively.
Okay.
And imagine in the next 10, 15 years, all the people coming out, when you teach them in class, you ask them questions, they will answer. You think you are done, you give them assignment, they go home. They can't do it. Or at the exams hall, realize that you are producing worse students just because they can't think right, they can't reason and appreciate issues in context to even profess solutions. Okay. So it has dire consequences in our education, our finances, our health, and for our pregnant women. This woman is trying to bring a life into this world. Why should she go through all these months? 9 months. 10 months, actually. We see it as 10 months. 40 weeks. So obviously it's 10 months. But for us, we all know it's 9 months. 10 months with all these things. And she has to go through, give birth, and the child comes in with deformed, some deformities, Down syndrome, and all those that we have in it.
Okay. So before we continue, we have the professor on the line. Hello, Professor Emmanuel Ahin. Oh, okay. We've lost him. I'm sure our producers will be doing what they can to get him back. So yes, back to the health of a pregnant woman and her unborn child. We've seen a few photos of the baby born but inadequate limbs and things like that. Are they also effects of this heavy metal poisoning?
Yes, obviously
Okay.
we can shy away from it. It has effects. One, it goes in because the fetus in utero, that's in the uterus or the womb, feeds on what the
Yeah.
mother eats. So if the mother is eating poisonous foods, contaminated foods, the child has no option.
Yeah.
So the child will be born with some deformities, with some skin infection, retarded growth and everything. So you have all normal children at the pace they are supposed to grow, their weight, their skin color, the texture and everything. This child will be, will not be getting these things that is supposed to come up with. So these are some of the things that pregnant women go through to give birth, or what we
Okay.
have to say.
So we have our professor back on the line. Good morning, Professor Ahin. Oh, we keep losing him. Sorry.
And yeah, let me just add, you see, the presence of mercury and other poisonous also increases the risk of miscarriage, birth defects, stillbirth, and everything. So in the short term, we'll see these things, miscarriages. People get pregnant, they are not able to keep it to the expected months of delivery. Then they expel, or naturally or in some way, they'll lose their babies.
Yeah.
So the effects on pregnant women, particularly stillbirth, you give birth within a short period, either the child will die in utero or fresh stillbirth. That's when giving birth, the child dies. So these are things that we are picking from such communities that is on the rise, it's on ascendancy. So if we don't step in, and the only thing that we can do is to wage this campaign that Stop Galamsey now.
Wow, thank you so much. So we have our second guest on the line, and as I mentioned earlier, he's in the person of Professor Emmanuel Ahin, the former dean and acting head of the Department of Geological Science at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. Hello, Professor Ahin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the KOKO Digest Morning Show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get quick into it. We are talking about Galamsey, balancing the risk and, of course, the opportunity. And we want to see if we can touch a little bit on mining in general. If you can tell us something small about mining in general and some of its impacts it can have on our society.
Thank you very much. I think I will begin with this incident that happened when Jesus Christ was crucified and buried. And then Mary and other women went to the tomb, and the angel there asked them, "Why are you looking for the living among the dead?" I'm going to relate this one to what we are referring to as Galamsey.
Okay.
Galamsey doesn't exist in Ghana.
Okay. Why do you say that, please?
And yeah, I'm just trying to give you the explain that one. Yeah. In 1989, that was when Galamsey died and was buried. That was when the first formalization of the artisanal small-scale mining sector started. Now, if you pick all our books, you will never see Galamsey.
Okay.
People were mining gold for livelihood purposes. So they were using rudimentary tools in getting the gold. So the government realized that the need to change the livelihood or change the economy of some people could be done properly by formalizing the system. So they set up a legal framework, and they reserve this session only to Ghanaians and Ghanaians above the age of 18. Here, they started by giving maybe 3-acre plots to about 4 or 5 people to mine with pickaxes and shovels, and they give 25 acres to those that were considered as working as a corporate group. So the 25 acres, they were supposed to use a local increment in getting the gold. And the number of years for that was 25 years. So well-defined system. And during those times, we never heard of pollution of food or pollution of water. I also want to remind of the state gold mining companies that we had before then. An example is Tunkwao Gold Fields. They were dredging often, but nobody heard that often got polluted.
Okay.
So the point I want to make here is the mining methods. Why was it that they were dredging often and then often never got polluted? That is one. The second point I want to make here is Minerals Commission don't give concessions to small-scale mining companies in the forest reserve. Neither do they give concessions to small-scale companies on water bodies. These areas, if they will be the large-scale mining company, where they believe they will use the right mining methodologies to get the gold out. So, if now we have people working on the water bodies, I would say they are illegal and they must be arrested and prosecuted. As we would do to any thief who steals somebody's items, will be arrested and prosecuted. So if we have people working on the water bodies, I can assure you that those people don't have any license to operate there from Minerals Commission. So they can be considered as thieves and must be arrested, prosecuted, and whatever punishment that they deserve be given to them. The second thing I want to say on the mining is, take yourself as a rice farmer. You've cultivated your farm, the rice is doing well, and then wheat comes in. Your yield will depend on how well you deal with with the wheat. Until you deal with the wheat, you don't expect to get a bumper harvest. So, what is happening in our artisanal small-scale mining sector? If we really want to address this issue, we need to get rid of the weeds. And the weeds are the Galamsey people that do not exist in our books. They are going contrary to the laws. And after we're done with them, then we can look at the right, that is, those that have been given licenses to check whether they are obeying what is enshrined in the legal framework. So I think this is what I will tell you when it comes to mining and as my introduction.
Okay. So would you say that the only difference between the artisanal small-scale mining and Galamsey would be the fact that the people engaging in Galamsey are engaging in that with regards to our river bodies and our forests?
nobody had given those areas to them. So if they are operating there, then they are operating illegally.
Okay.
And we need to get rid of them.
Okay. So do we not stand a risk of small-scale miners also emulating what the Galamseyers are embarking on, because they are also finding some sort of gold in the river bodies as well? How then do we get the weeds out in this situation?
Well, I have had an encounter with the small-scale mining association, their leadership and their members, and they are even more worried because that is the work that they have taken. They respect what is enshrined in the legal framework and will not do anything contrary to what is in the books. So if some people claim to be small-scale miners and have been doing license by Minerals Commission, the minister have signed. They have somebody who monitors their operation. And I doubt whether they are also in this mess.
Okay.
Anybody that does anything contrary to what is enshrined in the law is a thief, is stealing.
Okay.
And maybe let me add this one to it. The 2006 law on mining and mineral, or Act 703, repeats what we have in PNDC Law 218. But there has been some other legislation, LI, that they have added on, because if we are still supposed to use the rudimentary tools as a small-scale mining company, then we will not be able to get the gold that we need. So there has been some revisions whereby service companies are supposed to help in the mining of the gold.
Okay.
But here, what I see as something that when we brought that legislation, we did not include it, is that if we are using pickaxes and shovels to do, you use 5 years. But if we are asking that we use heavy moving equipment, then the 25 acres will be woefully inadequate. The bulldozer will use 2 weeks to mine that area. And if it happens so, the people that are supposed to monitor and evaluate the operation, by the time they get there, the people have finished and run away. So what I want to suggest moving forward is that the size of the concession must be increased. If we still want to maintain the small scale, then we need to move a ladder up, whereby we can have a medium scale. Increase the size maybe up to 1 square kilometer instead of 25 acres. 1 square kilometer will be 250 acres. And here, their operations must be monitored. 25 acres, 250 acres, where are you going to mine? It means you need to embark on geological exploration.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And through that work, you'll be able to identify which area on the concession hosts the gold. Then you'll be able to know the number of years that you will mine it. And you'll be able to come out with the appropriate mining method. All these things were not considered when we said that people should use what? Bulldozers and excavators to mine the gold. And I think this is one of the limitations that we need to look at if we want to claim this particular system, which everybody is complaining about.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So with your background in geoscience, what are some of the solutions, or so to say, repairing, or let me use the word, to repair any damage that is caused after mining, whether on the large scale or small scale?
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, everybody is complaining about the muddy rivers that we have in the country now. But what I can tell you is that it's not only muddy waters that pose the problem. We can have clean waters that are giving us more problems than the muddy water. Because the muddy water, once you see its color, you will not take it to drink. But there might be some clean waters that contains certain chemicals that will be so harmful to people's development. Okay? So, I am not afraid of the muddy waters, but I'm afraid of clean waters that has been polluted. My colleague that you interacted with a moment ago was mentioning some diseases that have become prevalent in our systems. And those diseases that he mentioned must not even come from this small-scale mining environment. I have done a work in that research. I spoke about the origin of non-communicable diseases. The hidden peril is something that we've not looked at. I have looked at some areas where there hasn't been any mining activity. And the results that I had from the soils showed high toxicities of arsenic. And I asked myself, how come? So I look at the rocks in that area and realize that those rocks do not contain arsenic. The amount of arsenic are so low that it will not get the opportunity to get to the soils where the readings that I got was very toxic. And exposure to this element leads to non-communicable diseases. Hypertension, diabetes become as a result of exposure to these elements. They are in the trace form, but the more you eat the food from there, you drink the water from such environment, it might accumulate in your system. And there is no clinical diagnostic machine that can pick it at that level. The time that the medical doctors will see you've gotten to the tipping point. And if you have checked on the airways recently, Comfort Noche, people did something and they said that about 70% of deaths that occur at the hospital, they were not able to identify the sources. And these are some of them. Okay?
Yeah.
The use of pesticides, the use of weedicides, the use of herbicides are polluting the environment, not just the small scale what they are operating. And another thing I can give to you is that you are a lady. If you kill chicken, there is a trace that you try to be very careful not to spoil the
bile,
the meat. So that is the bile, and it's very close to the juiciest part of the chicken, isn't it? So when it comes to gold in Ghana or gold in the Birimian system is found associated with sulfide minerals, and God has hidden them in the deep environment. It's not at the surface. But because we are looking for the gold which is deep-seated, we bring these materials up. And then when they get exposed to water, wind, they get transformed and then get to the soils and get to the water bodies. We cultivate our crops in there. We eat them. These trace elements accumulate in our bodies. And it will stay there as we continue to live in such environment. We get this non-communicable disease that today is the leading mortality in Ghana.
Yes, thank you so much. So
I'm just coming to make the last one. If we want to save humanity, the approach should be what? Prevention. Today, prevention is the new curative. Will we be able to map out the hotspot of these disease-causing elements? If we can do so, we'll be able to advise the farmers not to cultivate there, so that people in Accra who are far away from the farm areas will not be eating, pay money for food, and at the end of it, get sick and die. So prevention is the way forward.
Well,
Before we even think of remediation, which people will be talking about.
yes. So, I mean, the effects of mining, we already seen them. So I was asking if you have any curative measures. Yes, curative was the word I was looking for, that we could employ now, maybe for even from the large-scale miners all the way to the artisanal small-scale miners as well. If they are maybe filling up the pits they dig or replanting some afforestations, those kinds of measures, could they be taken into consideration and then put in place?
Yes, you have an idea, but it's not as simple as that.
Okay.
Okay? If you bring these chemicals that are not supposed to be at the surface environment, first you need to identify which areas have been polluted. It's not everywhere. And pollution in what? It is then that you can come out with the right remediation method. Okay? So what I would suggest we do is we carry out national geochemical survey to identify the disease-causing element areas. That one, it shouldn't just be from the mining side, because it's the mining and agri that are giving us this hell.
Yeah.
So I've been hearing people saying ban this Galamsey. I would say then add farming also to it. And these are the two areas that our GDP depends on. We need to get the experts to work.
Okay.
The media have done their part. They have created the awareness. It is time for us to get the experts to do their work. And if that one is done, this problem can be solved.
Okay.
Meantime, the people that monitor this thing, the legal framework is there. If you are not going by that one, they will have to revoke your license.
Yeah. So with the people engaging in the small-scale mining, or even Galamsey, as you said, does not exist, what are some of the alternatives that you think the government can put in place if we are trying to get them to stop whatever activities they are embarking on, especially in our rivers and in our forest reserves? What are some of the alternatives we can think about to give to the government to put in place for them?
I think that was what I began with.
Yeah.
Those people working there are not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
They are, I will call them thieves. I don't want to use the word illegal.
Yeah.
Those in the forest, okay, if they are small scale, Minerals Commission, don't give them concession.
Okay.
So if you can reflect over the rice farm distance, clean the weeds first. We need to clean the weeds.
Yes, but
we need to arrest those people.
Somebody would also say that it is their source of livelihood and things, the lack of employment and issues like that. So with that, they may say that you are also preventing somebody from getting their daily bread. That is why I was asking.
I think that cannot be an excuse.
Okay.
Because of your livelihood, you want the 30 million Ghanaians to perish. I don't think we need to accept that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that is not the way forward. Okay. But what I will say, maybe to the government, I just heard this morning that they are doing something. They are flushing certain people out from where they are. And other people are also saying, Pra is polluted. That means Pra from the source to where it empties into the sea. Likewise, they say the same thing about offering
Yes.
While I'm talking to you now, I'm just 2 kilometers from Ofri, around Infinity, and the water there is as clean as anything. But they are mining there. They are mining clay for bricks and tiles. How come that side of the offense is not polluted? It comes back to the mining methods. I mentioned the Pago thought dredging of free, and nobody complained about offense being polluted. So there is a mining method that people are using illegally and must be arrested because something some fine they put in there, and that is what is causing the problem. Arrest them, prosecute them. And then when we get them, we'll find a way. If it's livelihood, I think government must think how to make sure that the people get something to do.
Okay. Thank you. So we have a comment here. This one says, Yaira, I think if we focus on community education, regulatory enforcement, sustainable mining practices, environmental remediation, and responsible corporate engagement, Ghana can begin to make meaningful strides in curbing the detrimental effects of Galamsey. Thank you very much. This is from our very own Obiba Wilson. So, Mr. Solomon, I would also like to ask if you can touch on some of the social intervention policies that can be implemented for a situation like this.
So, thank you. I think Prof touched on a number of things that if hitherto we reiterate, it will go a long way to save us.
Yeah.
That notwithstanding, we can also consider regular health screening for these community that are engaged in mining.
Yeah.
There has to be regular screening for them. We must also embark on campaigns on safe mining.
Yeah.
You understand? Prof made a statement that, the mining has been with us. Big companies were mining, but our water bodies were not polluted.
Yes.
So we have safe mining that will go a long way to protect our water body and also reduce the health risks. I think we also have to improve on access to healthcare services in such communities, because as they are being exposed to these chemicals, these poisons and everything, they should be assessed. Like he said, sometimes in those communities, they don't have the experts, that's the medical doctors, the physician assistants, and this thing, who are qualified to even pick these conditions from the onset. If you are lucky enough for that condition to be picked enough, then you have treatment. But if you miss out and it stays within your body for a long time, by the time you get in, we will not be talking about the acute phase. We will be talking about the chronic phase, and nothing will be done about it.
Okay.
Yes. So I think and also the last one for me is that we have to strengthen regulations. We have to strengthen regulations concerning mining from the Minerals Commission, from the ministries and everything. And the task force that are currently on the site, they must not stop their work. They must enforce that those who have certificates and licenses to mine do safe mining. Those who don't have, like Prof said, they should be arrested and prosecuted. I would say they should flush them out. However they will do it, they should just take them out.
Prof, hello, Prof.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for standing by. I would also like to ask, are there any challenges that this mining has posed onto your field of study?
Yeah, the point is, I was at first a mineral exploration geologist.
Okay.
I've worked with Ashanti, with Newmont, and many other companies. I have also worked with some small-scale mining companies, a few of them, that want to do the right thing. Because if you have a 25-acre concession and you think there is gold everywhere, you will throw your good monies away. Yeah. There are so many of them that have lost monies. And that could be the reason why the disturb or degrade the environment without doing anything because all their income had gone into the trade. So the challenges that these people are having is how they'll be able to carry out an exploration work to identify where the gold or the mineral is. Many of them want to do the right thing, but funding has been a problem for them going forward. I have even proposed in one of my papers that if you have a 25-acre plot and it's an alluvial, you only need 5 pits to evaluate that 25 acres to be sure whether the concession given to you by Minerals Commission is worth it for you to go into mining. Okay? So, yes, there are a whole lot of challenges, and the challenge is people carrying out exploration to know where the gold is for them to mine.
Okay.
I hope I've answered your question. Or you?
Yes, please. So kindly
If not,
pardon?
Yeah, I'm saying if not, I can expatiate on it.
Oh, thank you very much. That's fine. Please hold on while I read a few comments and questions that are here. So this is from Obiba Wilson. He says, we need to combat Galamsey like we are at war as a country. Thank you for your comments. Rose Entertainment also says, very soon Ghana will be sued by the international communities for polluting the sea with Galamsey water. It is just a matter of time. D&J Ventures also says, in fact, Galamsey is destroying our water bodies, causing some communicable diseases and death. Truth be told, truth be told, the sponsors of this menace are known by the government, and yet they are wasting their energy on mere laborers. Please fight the sponsors, not the laborers. And then also we have Nicholas Forsen saying, cheers to Professor Ahen. Thank you so much for your comments. So this is also from Akosia and Kanishi. She's asking, can we quantify the monetary value of small-scale miners to the contribution of the economy of Ghana? So if any of you would like to answer. Okay, Prof, if you can take this, then Mr. Solomon would also...
Yes, I think the contribution of the Lansing small-scale mining to Ghana's GDP is huge. It's huge. But I cannot say the same thing to those who are doing Galamsey. I don't think a thief will steal something and bring it to the open market to sell. Okay? So there has been an instance that PMNC, who buys the gold from the small-scale people, come out of gold that they have purchased over the year, and then we get a conflicting numbers from Dubai, where many of these gold from Ghana goes to.
Yeah.
So we don't have any option. The option that we have, whether those working on the water bodies in the forest reserve that have not been granted to them by Minerals Commission, have some powerhouses behind them. Let's arrest the people. And when you arrest the people, they will bring out the people that are sponsoring them. And we can do justice to them. That is the first step in purging or in formalizing what is confronting us as a country. Arrest them, prosecute them. If you have to jail them, but not the small ones. There are big people as being speculated.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. I think you also answered a little earlier, but if you have any more to...
Oh, I think I tend to agree with Prof. When a thief steals something, he will not bring it to the open market for you to quantify it or to even know the worth of money that he's getting. So for small-scale money that are being regulated, of course, we are benefiting, and the impact on the economy is huge, as Prof stated. So I tend to agree with that.
Okay. So, Prof, one last question before we we set you free. So can you touch a little bit on the economic impacts that this is having on Ghana, this Galamsey issue?
Well, I think, was it on the 5th? I was on Joy TV
Okay.
when Ghana Water reported about the changes in the turbidity levels
Yeah.
from 14,000 to 9,000. Okay? That was a sign of recovery. But then, the waters that comes to our house for us to drink are as clean as snow. It tells you the processes that goes through. Huge sums of money. But remember, those people living in the villages don't have the tap water that has been worked upon by Ghana Water.
Yeah.
Many of them depend on the groundwater. So if the rivers there have been made muddy, I don't want to talk about the chemicals that are in those rivers. It affects the groundwater. And then when people bring that groundwater, it will have impact on their health. So apart from Ghana Water crying over huge sums of money that goes into it, we are also increasing the health burden. People will drink this water because that is what they have. They will get stomach ache, dysentery. Here, like I said, I am not talking about the chemicals that are also in there. So they will fall sick today, they'll go to the hospital, they come back, bring the same thing. The following week, they are there. The hospitals become their second home. That tells you how much government is spending on healthcare.
Yeah.
All these monies could have been channeled to maybe some infrastructural development,
Yeah.
which is being wasted. And there are a lot that I can enumerate. But since people are worried about the water, I just want to end here. The water, not only the ones in the rivers, but those that get into the groundwater system impact on our human development, and we will not be able to quantify it. If from source, from the first source to where it empties, we'll be talking about some 4,000 or 8,000 kilometers. It tells you the number of people that live there and depend on the water, but they have been deprived of getting that water from Antop. These are things that we can help quantify.
Okay.
But we'll be able to stop this because gold cannot be found in any rock. There are certain types of rocks that can host the gold mineralization. So if we are talking about a river like Pra or Fin, there are certain sections of it that these people who are stealing will go. And that should be dictated by what? By the geology.
Yeah.
So if we'll be able to mark out these sections, I don't know where you live in Accra, from your home to your office, I'm sure there is a traffic jam somewhere.
Yes.
It is not the entire stretch that is jammed.
Yeah.
So if we can go to where the traffic has jammed to see the causes of that, we'll be able to free traffic from there. The same way, the rivers that have been polluted through this act of mining can be checked by the geoscientists that we have. They can mark out and then find out why these people are here polluting the water. Let's allow the experts do their work.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we'll be fine.
I have one last question, then we take your concluding remarks. So we have people suggesting the use of rainwater or harvesting rainwater. What can you say to that? Well, after answering them, we can take your closing remarks to the Ghanaian populace watching and listening to us today.
I think I read that one somewhere, and my answer is not the substitute.
Okay.
We are talking about the carbon emission. Okay? So when this carbon in the atmosphere mix with the water that is coming, it becomes what? Acidic. And it's not good for us to drink acid water.
Rain,
So we must always allow the science to direct us. That is why I've been talking about experts. There are people that can make the right suggestions. One of those groups is Ghana Institution of Geosciences. Let's go to them, ask them. This is the problem that the nation is confronted with. What can we do? We need your expert advice. And I think they'll be happy to do so. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Please, we would like to take your closing remarks, or you've added that to the answer.
Yeah, my closing remarks is the mess that we are having in this sector can be addressed if we speak to the right people. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. It was a very, very educative segment here with you today. We are so grateful for your contributions, and we hope you have a good day.
Thank you very much for inviting me in.
All right. You're welcome.
Cheers, bye.
So thank you so much, our dear viewers, for staying with us throughout this extension. We don't usually go this long, but we would like to take Mr. Jao's closing remarks, then we wrap up.
Okay, thank you very much. I think Prof stressed on allowing the experts to do their job. But believe you me, the experts have always been with us. There are a lot of policies, there are a lot of research that have been done, but we need that willpower to implement these recommendations and policies to mitigate this menace that we are all fighting. So I would say that we need the authority, the government, to do what is right, and they know it. They have the experts with us, they have the experts with them, and they know what the expert is telling them. The other thing is that we must be deliberate about our health, and let's speak and let's wage that campaign for people to be aware of the dark consequences of engaging in unsafe or illegal mining. Then the other thing will be that we should try to regularize these artisanal people who are engaged and give them the requisite training and logistics to do safe mining. Okay. And I think with that, we'll be good to go. Yeah. But in the interim, we should ban
illegal mining.
Illegal mining, or skill mining, of course. I mean, we need to recover some areas for now, then we can engage later.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Before I wrap up, we have one more comment here. It says, TA says, in other countries, they will treat this as a national security, but in Ghana, all they do best is looting of state resources. Hey, TA, calm down. But thank you so much. Thank you, Prof, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Jao, for also joining us. Yeah. This conversation, it looks like we may need to have it again because there's a whole lot to discuss about it. We did a little bit of the health and then the geoscience. We need to talk more on the social and economic, even environmental impacts as well. Thank you so much. And thank you all, my cherished viewers, for staying with us this long, and we will try our best. We promise it will not happen again. Thank you so much to our sponsors, our management, our production team, everybody that's contributed to making this show a success. We are most grateful to you all. We hope that you do have a beautiful day ahead. Up next at 11, we have Clock Sports coming up, and they will be talking about the Ghana versus Sudan match. Me already predicted. I've given up on Ghana Black Stars, but I'm sure some of you still love them. So you can stay tuned to Clock TV when that comes up to watch and then share your thoughts on the highlights as well. Do have an amazing day.
unclogged TV. Beyond the policy.